Remember when you were young and everything in life seemed so much more fun and the possibilities seemed endless? Is that still the same for you, or has life become a serious business? Wherever you are, you can change it. What if more magic, fun, and possibilities were available to you right here, right now? Join Laura and Alun in the playground of possibility as they play, laugh, and explore new ways you can use to make your life more fun and to create more of what you desire.
Hello and welcome to our show today.
Hello, Miss Stuck.
I can't remember what it's called.
Stuck. And do you think that's where you are today?
Yeah, okay, so welcome to our show, the Playground of Possibilities, with myself, Laura Borland, and my very lovely playmate, Alun Jones. And yeah, it's like, so Alun and I are both coaches and we do a whole variety of things. And if you would like to find out more about us, you can check out Alun on his website, Alun, that's with a U, jones.com, or myself, lauraborland.com. So, my lovely playmate, what's today's show?
Today's show is Stuck, just like
really?
you are stuck in a loop.
Ah!
In case anyone, so people who are listening,
yeah, go
on. Laura is stuck in a loop, and she can't sign into the website at the moment, so it just keeps going round and round in loops. So how much fun is that? So where are you stuck in your life? What's the story you keep telling about the things you feel you cannot change? So you ask the questions, but they just don't seem to work. And, you know, your head just wants to figure it out and fix it, and you're stuck in your head, and you begin to wonder if it will ever change. And it's maddening seeing others have so much ease. Yeah, it's really, really off-pissing, isn't it? When you see people changing things, and you're going, but it doesn't work for me. Yeah, exactly. So is everything just a choice? And we choose to be stuck. Is that really true? So what if there's an unway? There was an unway. What if there was a way?
Exactly.
Stuck on my words. What if there was a way to unstick yourself from the wading through the sticky toffee pudding of stuckness? See, I actually wouldn't mind being stuck in sticky toffee pudding.
Would you have clothes on or off?
Oh, either. Either. It would have to come with custard. So, because I like custard.
I don't like custard so much. Apart from trifle, I adore trifle. Okay. And what's this got to do? We're talking about cake. Okay, cool.
And yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have to. I need to get a message to you. From Bree, and I'm going to have to say it out loud. Sorry, Bree, because Bree's our producer, by the way, because I can't get in touch with Laura through the chat room. Can you go to the chat room at the red bar on the main page for now, Laura?
The red bar, I will try and do that. It means that there might not be so much multitasking going on with me.
Awesome. So you can talk while I multitask. So people, while Laura's just logging into, have you found the chat room? Awesome.
I found it's like so. Okay, just keep going, keep going.
Okay, I'm just going to keep going while she's playing with that. So when it comes to, this is now to our listeners, when it comes to stuckness, you know, what's sticking you? You know, what actually is...
Hello, I'm in.
Awesome. How does it get better than that?
It was really funny. I was like, what name will I call myself? And I thought, how about Laura?
That would work. So,
okay, I'm with you.
So, Laura, do you want to carry on with that?
I have no idea what you were saying. I wasn't listening to you.
Where are people stuck? Where does stuckness come from?
That's a really good question, actually. Where does stuckness come from? Actually, it's like stuckness comes from our conclusions. And if someone had said that to me some years ago, I'd have been like, "Say what?"
Yeah.
But actually, and the thing as well is, it's like, so when we're stuck, it really feels like it's something that's happening to us because we tell the story about how we desperately want it to change.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for someone to say, "Hey, being stuck is just a choice," it's like, really? It's like, come closer and say that to me.
Yeah, how many times do you want to smack someone in the face for saying that to you?
Completely. And actually, it's maybe not all kindness to say that to people if they're stuck, because, you know, it's like, certainly when I've been stuck at many points in my life, And the most recent one being about 2 minutes ago. But yeah, it's not always a kindness to people they're stuck if that's not what is required in the moment. So
yeah, I would agree.
I think as well the thing about, I can think of there's some big areas where I was stuck. Oh my God, it's like for like a few years. And I really, really believed that there was almost like something out there that was happening to me. And the idea that, what I really didn't get was that the more I focused my energy on it and the harder I tried to change it, because I thought there was something to be fixed, it's like the more I seemed to solidify it in my life, and actually it really did feel like I was on a never-ending loop.
Really interesting, because I think the bit that jumped out. Well, there are two things that jumped out of that for me as you were talking about that. One of them was how often do we stick ourselves because we think something needs to be fixed, because we think it's broken, and and that then leads me underneath that to what's the lie? Because we cannot change a lie.
And do you want to say a little bit more about that? Because I think I heard you say that 4 or 5 times, and I was like, what? So yeah, it would be helpful maybe for anyone who's listening, who's just heard you say that and go, I know you've used fairly simple words, but you've used them in a way I have no idea what you're talking about.
So that's not your issue then. That's not my issue either. So, it's just it. So yeah. So I'll try and make that as kind of as clear as I can. So so from my experience, if you try and change something that's actually a lie, that's it. You just can't change it. So I'm trying to give an example. So let's suggest, right, you decide, you conclude that you are ugly. So I need to do everything I can to stop me from being ugly. Well, isn't that just an interesting point of view?
Yeah, because what is ugly?
What is exactly? Or my body is fat. My body is fat, and therefore, I need to change that. And it's like, is that really true? I mean, it might be that your body wants to be a different shape, but I think that's a different thing. Or you're owning something. So someone says to you, you are really crap at blah, 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 blah. And you buy that as true, but that's just their point of view about you. It might not actually be true for you, but you go out of your way to try and change something that actually isn't true.
And it's almost like we try, so what we then do, and I don't know if this is for you, Alan, but it's like certainly what I would do is I would try and change my external environment.
Yes.
So taking the thing about, what you said about ugly, so it's like when we feel ugly, it's like anyone telling you they look really hot, can you receive it?
No.
Absolutely not.
No. It's really interesting how we live in those points of view rather than questioning them. So we keep trying to. Yeah, sorry, go.
No, I was just going to say it's like Eleanor saying I'm stuck when I don't see any other choices, and I think that's like something absolutely, Eleanor. It's like because it's almost like we become so embedded. It's almost like if we've dug a trench and we are like we're kind of like in this big trench and we can't see over top. And it's like whatever we're looking for is over the top, but we're just looking around the trench and we can't see it. We just can't see it. And it really does feel like there are no other options, even though it's like in a world of infinite possibility. Is that really true?
I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think to use that analogy about you can't change a lie, let's suggest you're in what you perceive to be a trench and you're looking in one direction and all you can see is, you have to kind of step on your tiptoes to even try and see out of the trench. And sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. And so you think, okay, well, I'm stuck in a trench. I have to fix this. I have to fix this. I have to fix this. And yet if you were just to turn around, you could see that actually there's a whole load of space behind you.
Absolutely.
Or to your left, there's a ladder. Or, do you know what I mean? It's like, so how often is it true that you really are stuck in a trench?
So let's talk practical when we're talking about that, though, because it's like, let's not talk about trenches. Let's talk about, I don't know, let's talk about, so say you're in a job that you hate.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're stuck in the job because of whatever your because is. And, because might be, it's like the market's really bad, I won't get another job, or I need this money, or I won't get a promotion, or I don't have the skills. And these are all justifications.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it just made me think about, so when I was stuck, it's like, what never occurred to me is I felt like I had it all sewn down. Anything that anybody could suggest to me, I was like, I've done. So I'm like, my question is, what is it that we're not willing to be? Or what is it that we're not willing to see? And what is it we're not willing to question?
Yeah, absolutely. All really great questions, because that's the thing, isn't it? How often have we been in jobs where we've looked at it and said, I can't leave, I have to keep working, I cannot leave, I can't afford not to leave, I don't know what else I would do, and I spent about 5 or 6 years doing career coaching with people who'd been made redundant from their jobs. And that was quite often, people would come in with, oh my God, my world is ending. Until we looked at it from a different perspective, when they realised quite often that it was a gift. They were being paid to leave their job so they could go and find something else. And yes, initially it was a bit, oh my God. It's like, actually, is that fear or is that excitement that you now get the chance to go and do something that you really love?
And that's so true, because how often, it's like, so when we're in a space and we don't particularly like the space that we're in, and we're perhaps resisting and reacting to the space that we're in, we project it into the future because we think it's going to last forever.
Absolutely.
Like, this will never change. It's like, and everything I can to change this. It's like, why did this happen to me? And it's all such victim speak. And I'm laughing, but really, it's like, it's not an easy space to be in.
It really isn't, and I think it is that that it does feel like we're being a bit of kind of victim and everything is happening, but it is about just asking a question and going, well, you don't have to fit in. Because again, how often do we create stuckness in order to fit in? Because we daren't do something different, which kind of it relates to the question that Ellen has just asked in the chat room, which is, am I willing to be different? And I think that's the thing, isn't it? How often do we create stuckness because we're mimicking other people, and because we're unwilling to be that different? I worked with, when I was doing this career coaching, with a whole load of investment bankers who just left the industry. Some went off to be gardeners, and some went off to be, just doing all sorts of things that were just so totally unrelated, because they decided, 12 months ago that actually, they'd really had enough. And some of them even longer than that. Now I've got the opportunity to go and be and do something different. Are you willing to receive the judgment to be different?
And that's such a good question, because I think where that's where we start to have all these. It's almost like we have all these. So we're stuck, and it's like, but we've created all these like invisible electric fences. What we think are the invisible electric fences, and so there's no room for manoeuvre. And now I look back and I just go, wow, it really was the points of view that I had that. It may be that there were some areas where I was like, okay, I get that I'm creating that, but I was like, I'm really not creating that. And it just, because it felt so solid and real and true, and outside of kind of like, that whole thing of like, really, because actually there's a real unkindness, something to ourselves when we're stuck. And so it can be really kind of like, I don't know about you, but for me, it's kind of when I began to realise just how stuck I had made myself, I was like, wow, that was a really interesting choice. It wasn't my kindest choice to me. No,
and how often are we really unkind to ourselves, and for what reason? What's the value of being so unkind to ourselves? Because we do that. But I think, one of the big things about all of this stuff is, something that you said about I am creating it, and the last thing you want to hear when you're in that space is so often that you're creating it. So I think what we can do, we're about to go to break shortly, so maybe we pick up on that whole creating and how we're creating our lives after the break, and move into that, and how that creates stuckness when we're not clear about what it is that we're creating, if that makes sense.
Perfect.
Good, because I was losing myself in the middle of the sentence. So I will try and get my thoughts together rather than being stuck in a loop during the break, and we'll catch you after these adverts. Thank you. See you soon.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour, and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Playground of Possibilities with myself, Alun Jones, and my gorgeous unstuck co-host Laura Borland, who's not stuck because she's in the chat room. How does it get better than that?
I know.
So we were talking before break. I was trying to get my words out, but stuck in a loop about kind of. Would you get?
I think our show was playing with it.
So yeah, it is. Our show is totally playing with us on the stuckness. So how much fun is that? So yeah, how often do we create stuckness in our lives? And if we do create everything in our lives, which we kind of do with every choice we make, we are creating. Every choice we make creates. And whether we're choosing to stay stuck, or whether choosing to think that we're still stuck, or whatever it is, even if we're not choosing something different, we're still choosing. We're choosing the same things over and over and over and over again.
And I really like what Keisha said in the chat room. I'm wondering how many of us stick ourselves to the point of view that we only create what we like or enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how often do we do that? It's like, well, I wouldn't possibly create that because it's not fun for me. Well, when you create on autopilot, or you create because you're choosing because you're choosing what you think you should choose, or you're choosing what you've been told you should choose. Wasn't it Einstein who said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
Absolutely. And it's funny, even this morning I was doing some stuff in my business, and I actually started to laugh because I would like to create something different, and then the awareness I got was, oh, I'm going to have to do something different. I'm going to create something different. And it was just so funny. And it's like, and sometimes what I do is I write things down because it helps kind of like me remember the awareness. And actually, as I was writing it, I was like, I know this seems ridiculous to write, but I'm just really getting that to create something different, I'm actually going to have to do or be something different, because in some areas I've been doing the same thing, but going, I would like something different. Why is it not showing up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, how many times can I remember when I first started my business doing kind of coaching and stuff, and I would just keep doing the same things in terms of advertising my business, and nobody seemed to be biting. And it was like, well, I'll just keep doing it and eventually someone will. And it's like, rather than asking a question saying what else is required, but I didn't, I just kept doing the same thing over and over again. And then I got myself more and more depressed because nothing was working. And I got myself more and more stuck. And then, because
the more we see evidence of stuff not working, the more we conclude that it's not working, and then therefore it's really real.
Yeah, and how much do we validate ourselves? So it's like, well, how many times has someone said to you, if you don't do this, you'll be stuck? Or you'll always do, has someone ever told you that you are stuck, you will be stuck at some point in your life doing something? Do you see what I mean? Like, and then because we, for whatever reason, we've bought that as true, because therein lies the lie. We talked about earlier on, you can't change a lie. Someone says to you, oh, it looks like you're stuck. So we stick ourselves, and then we make a whole load of choices that just validate the lie that we are stuck. And that's how I got into a massive depression years ago. This is before I came across Access Consciousness stuff. And I'd been making so many choices about being stuck, and I can't change this, and my business is going down the pan, and I'm putting on weight, and I'm really fat, and this is wrong, and my relationship's wrong, and everything in my life was just stuck and getting stuck down this hole. It was awful. I could see no other choice. I could see no other possibilities, and so I concluded that the only way out for me was to choose to slit my wrists. That was it.
Wow.
That was how stuck I felt. And that's not a good place to be.
No, because, when we're in that space, it's like, and it's so heavy and it's so contracted. And that's a space where we start to go, what is wrong with me? Why is it that it seems to work for other people? And it's like, why can't it work for me? And it's like, and actually all that does is create more stuckness.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess, probably like you, it's like I had no awareness of that at the time, and I somehow thought that God, the universe, or whatever was like truly out to get me or break me. But I feel kind of like,
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, the only thing that, for me, it's that wrongness, isn't it? For me, it was, I'm so wrong, and if I can just stop being wrong, then I won't be stuck.
Absolutely, because I think that the other thing around that is it's like, so when we're in that space, it's like, often people around us, because it's like we perhaps don't, it's that whole thing about we don't conform, or we're not the same as kind of like, well, for me it was around kind of like, work and money and a house, and I just kind of like blown up like a relationship, and I really didn't know which way was up, but it was this sense of like, well, if you get a job, it's like it'll all be okay, and I was like, yeah, really?
Absolutely.
That just didn't seem to me, because I think that, it's like when you choose what makes you feel heavy and what doesn't work, that's got to be insanity, choosing it again, right?
But we do. But that's it, we do. And, we keep on choosing it, because this time it'll be different. I haven't been lucky in the past, and this just won't work for me, but I don't know what else will, so I'll just keep doing it anyway. It's a bit like it comes to I think Victoria Wood said once, she was making a joke about Christmas. Going home for Christmas to your family is a bit like dropping a brick on your foot. It really, really, really hurts, but you just keep doing it anyway.
But actually, Eleanor had just, said something, the frustration level increases, and then I slowly start going down the rabbit hole, and absolutely, I've been there, and you're just, it's like, and actually it's almost like we're directing all of our energy, because there's so much judgment in it. There's so much judgment. It's like we tie ourselves up in knots, and and it can be really hard to even begin to see how we can change it. And someone who was would say, oh, change is only a thought away. Again, you're like, you know what? Piss off.
Yeah.
It's not helpful.
I remember Dane here, who's one of the co-founders of Access Consciousness, saying the first time he came across the Access kind of, for want of a better phrase, mantra, which is all of life comes to me with ease, joy and glory, he was just like, fuck off! And he screwed up the paper with the advert in it and chucked it in the bin. And, when you're in that space, the last thing that you often want to hear is someone coming and go, it's just a choice, just a choice. And, it's so unkind. It's so
unkind. It's so unkind, because actually, it's like, and what makes people choose that? Is that because it's like they're really unaware of kind of like what would be the greatest contribution?
It's because they're being superior arseholes a lot of the time, I think, and I've been there. I've done that.
Me too. I've done that too. It didn't go down well. It didn't really create the desired the outcome for. It didn't make the person go, oh, Laura, you're right. I'm wrong. What should I do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, well, it's just a choice. And look at me. I was there, and I've chosen this. I think, yeah, I can choose that now. I can choose that now. When I was in the situation where I was sitting at home in the dark, in the cold, at the point where I was, the only choice that at the time was available to me was to go up and run the bath so that I could go and slit my wrist. If someone walked in and goes, it's just a choice, I think I'd have stabbed them before I killed myself, and that would have been okay. That would have been like, fuck yeah. But it's something else that I'm just going to pick up on the Eleanor about the frustration levels. Do you know, one of the things that occurs to me as well about this whole stuckness thing is, how on a pinball machine you pull the little lever back to get the pressure before you fling the ball?
Love pinball, yes.
Yeah? So how often do we create this stuckness in ourselves in order to get this build-up of the potency and the energy of change that we know we really are, so that we can come out and kind of explode out?
That's so true. Rather than kind of like, it's almost like, so we almost like avoid it. So like until we're kind of like really backed into a corner, and then we'll choose.
Yeah. It's like we have to allow an emergency to allow us to make the choice that we know we actually want to make. It's like, it's one of the best excuses to make the choice is to create so much pressure in our life that then we can. So again, if you let's look at. Take it to another level. Let's look at sex. You're having sex with somebody and you're building to effectively the orgasm, which is the explosive kind of part of it, which is also the creative part of it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's like the explosive part when bang.
I don't know, Alan. It's been a while. I'm finding it hard to remember.
You get stuck there.
Sorry.
Okay. Let's talk about that after the show. So
let's not.
so yeah, it's just like, how much have we got into that habit of knowing that we have to keep kind of working this till we get to the point where we can effectively kind of orgasm our life into something new. Well, what if you don't have to do that? What if you don't have to wait for an emergency to make a choice? And for me, it does come back to...
Or wait for an emergency to have an orgasm. So.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My leg's just chopped off, but hey, I'm having an orgasm. Isn't that awesome? How does it get better than that?
I have absolutely no idea what we were talking about. I'm like, where do we go?
So I was talking about, so we can pick this up after the break if you like, but it was about where do we create emergencies in order to allow ourselves to make a choice?
Yeah, because then we catapult ourselves out of the stuckness.
Mm-hmm.
And and actually it's like, what if we could begin to play with the, this kind of like thing that we call stuckness. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's something we can pick up when we come after break. So It's like, stick with us, guys. It's like, actually, this is a lot of fun talking about this. And we look forward to seeing you after the break.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bar session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, and welcome back to the Playground of Possibilities, where we're talking about stuck. And I am here. My name is Laura with my lovely playmates Alun. And you know, when we were on the break, Alun, I was just thinking that, so at points in my life when I've been stuck, that although I've asked questions, I've really done it from an energy of lack and also an energy of resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just, it's really funny because I was looking at something I'd written down before we went to break as well, which was about conclusion. How often do we think we're asking questions when actually what we're doing is concluding with a question mark attached?
Yeah, or we ask the question and we're like, well, I've asked the question, so
why hasn't it changed? Yeah. And so there's both of those, I think, because it's a bit like, so what's wrong with me? You've already concluded that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Why am I stuck? Well, that's not a really helpful question because it just sends you back into the loop of trying to work out why rather than what else is possible.
My God, how long did you spend in the loop of why am I stuck? Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate to. Oh, wow. It's just like, and you know what? It's like, I just kept thinking, if I could just figure it out, it's like, if I can figure it out, I can fix it. And, this for me was before kind of like access. And I really, it's like that thing where, we're so taught in this reality about fixing problems. And so I used to think I was stupid and why can't I fix this? And had no idea that actually in my desperate attempts to fix things, that actually it was just really sticking me. And wow, and it's like, I'm so grateful that I can see that now, because I really couldn't see the time, but it felt like I live in hell.
Yeah, it is coming from that. I know, I totally get that. It's like for years I struggled with my body, what my body looked like. As a child, I was incredibly skinny, and I was made to feel wrong for it. So, of course, me being bright, as wonderful and stupid as I can be at times, created my body. Thank you so much. God, how did I get so lucky to help with you? So, And, so then I created a body that was completely the opposite. At one point I know I was over 17 stone. And, I was huge, and I hated my body, even more. No matter what I seemed to do, wherever my body seems to be, it was always wrong. But always I kept thinking, how can I make my body attractive to other people? It's like, my body is so ugly, my body is so ugly. That's a conclusion.
God, our words are so powerful.
And it's a lie, and I can't change a lie. Because the other thing, of course, which I found really amusing was, well, okay, if I'm skinny and that's wrong, and people don't like me because I'm skinny, then if I make myself really fat, then there was that going on, which of course it was like, so then that will be that. No, what was that about? So it was like, whatever happened, anyway, long and the short it was, I found out a whole load of people then.
You lost yourself in your head there. Did you get stuck in your head there?
Did you get that? I did get stuck in the loop. And the loop there for me was, I remember thinking at the time, if I make myself really ugly, then I won't sleep around and I won't be unfaithful to my partner. So I created what I considered to be this really ugly body, but also that meant it couldn't be wrong because skinny was wrong. And so then all these people came and found me attractive because I was a larger guy. And I'm like, oh, that was a waste of time. It's taken me years to get this body like this ugly, and people are finding it attractive. So all of these lies.
But what insanity, and also what a vast amount of energy.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of to create, it's like that thing where we invest so much energy into ourselves that's totally against us.
Yeah, absolutely against us completely. And there's a whole load of conclusions and a whole load of lies. And when you're in conclusions and you're in lies, you cannot change it. You are sticking yourself on the proverbial, hamster wheel of going round and round and round and round. Why am I like this? Why does nobody like me? And it's like, well, do you like yourself?
Yeah. And did you just see the message in the chat room? It's like Eleanor.
Yeah.
It's like, how does it get better than this? I'm so grateful, Eleanor, for that you've just shared in terms of that you've just had an awareness. And I'm smiling so that it will happen for me at other people. So I play the waiting game. What else is possible? So what would it take for you to choose for you? What would it take for you to begin to choose in the direction that you would like to move in? I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
And something else that I wrote down before the show was who are you sticking for?
Oh my God! And this is something you and I have talked a bunch about actually, because it's like we stick ourselves. So let me talk for me. So what I became aware of is I stick myself to fit in with the people around me, because the perception is if I didn't stick myself, then I would be my own. It's a kind of an interesting point of view.
And how's that working for you?
I know. And but I'm laughing as I say it because it's like, so we have these insane points of view, and it's like we just accept them as real and true, and we create our lives with them, and then when we begin to kind of get awareness of them, you're like, say what?
Yeah. And that for me has been the joy of finding stuff like Access is being able to ask different questions and being given questions that really do help you to create change. As simple as, what else is possible that I haven't considered?
Yeah, and there's we've talked about Abraham and Esther Hicks before, but there was times for me that it was like so when it was almost like what can I think now to create a little more ease?
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking I hate this, I'm stuck. Okay, well, it's like, and basically what they're saying is it's like that, you can't go from that to, hey, everything's happy, because it's like your head's like, don't be so stupid. But actually just to have a tiny thought which just creates more ease. Okay, so, I know that things will change. I know that nothing is the same, whatever it is. And actually that for me was, I was going to say it's a real lifesaver. But just having that, because what it did was it entertained my mind, and then I would just feel myself being like, oh, and that was again, before I'd come across Access, just in the moment. And sometimes it's like when the questions don't shift it for me, it's like I sometimes use that technique.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's for me one of the things that Esther and Jerry did was this whole thing around the hierarchy of emotions. And there isn't, for me, it's often there is no point for me in trying to feel, on top of the world and joyful if what I'm feeling is that I'm just sitting under a great big pile of shit. And I can't see my way out. There is no point in me going, what can I be happy about? Because that really, for me, that's not always going to work. Sometimes it does, but a lot of the time it doesn't, especially if all around me I see even bigger piles of poo.
But have you ever, so there's something that happens, it's like, I don't know if, it's funny, it's like you look on like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and it's like, and people are putting out really kind of like positive things, except the energy feels really funky and heavy, and you're like, it's almost like the positive thing that's
I am joyful and happy, and I have lots of choices in my life. Fuck off.
But actually, it's like covered in a veneer of shite, and it's like heaviness and lies, and it's like, and it just doesn't feel right.
No, that's why for me, positive affirmations never worked. There is no point in me when I am not feeling confident and comfortable to sit there and go, I am confident and comfortable and everyone loves me. I am confident and comfortable and everyone loves me. And, and all I'm seeing around, well, I nearly said the C word then, but, it's just like, no, I just, no. No point in me saying that.
It's funny because it's almost that way where it's like, so people who have money in the bank, do they sit all day going, I have money in the bank, I have money in the bank, I have money in the bank? They just know they do, right? But it's like, so actually if you have no money in the bank and you're going, I have money in the bank, I have money in the bank, it's like, and it's just that thing where, it's like, so people who be it, it's like, don't kind of like use won't be using the affirmations.
Yeah, it's like it's what we were saying just before the show, which is I've had this awareness in the last 5 days because I've just spent 4 days of doing just really, really beautiful processes from Access Consciousness and having my bars run and having all of these amazing body processes to release stuff for me and change it. Was this massive awareness about it's not just asking the question, it's about being the question, being the energy, space and consciousness of being the question. And that may sound really, really funky and weird to people listening, and it's I'm not even sure I can explain it in words, but the question I would ask is what energy, space and consciousness can I be to be the energy, space and consciousness of being the question? It's like, for me it just opens it up. It's like, what energy, space and consciousness can I be to be the question? Because when you be the question, when your energy, because we're all made up of energy and consciousness and space. I mean, that's basically all our body is made up from. It's little space between the molecules, which are energy, and the consciousness that actually those energies and space is. When you are that and you be it, and you go, right, well, nothing really means anything. And so when you ask the question, not from your cognitive mind, you just kind of ask it, so what energy can I be? And just allow the space to be there. And you'll get it when you get it. You are not wrong for not getting it if you don't get it from how I'm explaining it. You really don't.
No, and this is maybe a really, sometimes it's like, examples like really help me. So I'm going to give an example to anyone out there who might have a brain that works in the same way as mine. But a while back, it's like I have a friend, more than one. I have a friend, and we were walking down the street, and for fun, we were like, hey, let's pretend that we are millionaires. So we were walking down the street, and I happened to turn around and I said to her, oh my God, you're so much taller. And then I was like, oh my God, I feel really different. And that for me was like, it showed me kind of like, that thing about being the energy, because it's like, so then I was like, okay, body, so, how would you like to walk? And almost like my body just started walking differently, and I was like, wow. And so this is the thing where it's like, again, it's just like, it's like in Access we talk about just for fun, not for sharing. But it's the just for fun. It's like, how often have you, I know I do, it's like, we don't use the tools just for fun, we're so serious about the tools.
Oh my God, yeah, we do. It's like, I have to change it, I have to make it all meaningful, I have to make it significant. That was, I don't know whether we picked that up after the break actually, because I just wanted to Let's just
skip the break.
Skip the break. So, wonderful Bree, if you can you can take your finger off that hover button, my love, because we're gonna keep on gassing. So yeah, one of the there's a book written by Gary and Dane called
Stay with me.
Multitasking, bright shiny things. The book called Gary, Douglas and Dane here are the co-founders and the creators of Access Consciousness, called the 10 Keys to Freedom, and I think it's number 5, which is no meaning, significance and structure. I think that's what it is. No form, no structure, no significance. And we put so much meaning and significance and structure around what questions can I ask that will clear this for me. And we're already concluding. Yeah, it's like we've already decided, we're already concluded that the questions will be the things that unstick whatever it is you think you're stuck. It's like, what questions can I ask? What questions can I ask? What questions can I ask? Or we do the whole bloody Lord of the Rings thing. Which is the one question that clears it all.
Oh my God, absolutely. And there's something around, and I know this might sound, actually it probably won't sound more insane than anything else that people are doing when they're stuck, but it's like, what if just for one day you could just allow it to be? What if just for one day you could just look in another direction? What if just for one day you could just begin to kind of like be grateful for the things that are like working in your life, and actually just take there's a brilliant thing. I'm like, breathe, Laura, breathe. There's I think it was Tamara Juncker, and I heard her, or maybe it wasn't. It wasn't her. But I once heard somebody say that they were talking about an issue, and somebody just said, you know what? It's like you need to go a bit more broad focus, because you're total laser beam.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing where it's like there's nothing. It's like, but actually, what we do is we were like, I'll be happy when whatever it is for you, and actually, that's another lie.
And what question do I ask that will create me to be a millionaire? What
but
question
you don't have
can
the
I
question.
ask? Yeah.
Sorry, don't you have the question?
What question? Not that I'm going to share you with. So, what question can I ask that will make my body sexy? What question can? It's like we're already concluding that we're not the things that we're asking to be, because it's like we just get ourselves so caught up in getting the right question. So for me, it's like. You said something that sparked something in me, but then all the bright, shiny things kind of took me completely off track. So just to give people, let's just come back to some basics and say to people, so what tools can you use when you do feel you are stuck? Is truth. Oh, and that's what it was. So actually, truth, am I stuck? Am I really stuck? And that might be a yes for you. But when you were talking about things not working for me, and having a look at it and going, actually, so a question people might like to ask is, what is working really well for me that I haven't acknowledged?
Yeah, and what would it take for that? It's like that thing, so in an area where there's ease, and so where there's something that is working for you, what if you could just ask for that energy to contribute to every area of your life?
Yeah, so
well, I think Simone had this, not Simone de Beauvoir. Simone Molasses. Sorry, okay, just focus, Laura. Simone Molasses had talked one time about, so what do you do that brings you joy? And it's like, and for me, I adore cooking. I absolutely adore cooking. I like to talk to the vegetables. I know it sounds mad.
No, I do.
But actually, I really have a real kind of like connection and presence and gratitude when I'm cooking. And it was like, wow, so what if I could use that energy in that area of my life? Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to push the boundaries a bit. I happen to love masturbation, and even when.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. You made me go visual. Oh.
Yeah, don't go visual. Anyone who's watching. It's like even at the time when I really hated my body, pleasuring it in that way was actually a lot of fun. So it's like, what actually is fun? And I'm not saying I'm just going to sit, maybe I could make money masturbating, and I'm sure that actually probably is true. If I sold myself, I could sell it online or something. But it's like, where are you willing not to be? It's like, what is fun for you? And at least... Sorry, go on.
On you go. Well, no, what I was going to say was what's interesting that what you said, so even the time when, all the stuff that was really heavy was being created around your body, within that, actually your body was still showing you something.
Yes, and that's my point. It's like, what else is going on here that you're not acknowledging? That was, for me, it was complete release and relief of pleasure in terms of, what else what else is working well for me that I just haven't acknowledged? And that was one thing. Actually, that is one part of my body that I appreciate, and my body loves me doing it.
Yeah, but who doesn't love masturbating?
Well, absolutely. Well, it's like...
Let's move on.
Bodies like to be touched. And so what else is working for me? And, I am really, really good at getting myself stuck and in a hole. So if I could use that, how can I use that energy for me rather than against me? Yeah.
And also I think just, it's like, so when people, if you're, if anyone's listening and they're really in the depths of like feel stuck, it's just, even when things... Thanks for that. I was going to be all cerebral and you took it to the gutter.
Well, it's a different possibility. It is certainly a possibility.
It's a different possibility. So I'm just going to continue with my possibility.
Okay.
I'm like thinking, have I completely... Oh man, you took it out of my head. No. Oh, you're cruel and evil and wicked. I totally forget what I was going to say.
So what else? Another question people might like to ask while you're getting your thoughts back together is, what else is possible? What else is possible that I haven't acknowledged?
Yeah, and if I was being kind to myself. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. If I was being kind to myself, what would I choose? And actually, because even when it doesn't look like things are changing in the outside, things are always changing. Things are always changing. Yeah. And it is that thing where sometimes it's like, it's like, just keep going, keep going, keep going. It will change. It will change.
And keep asking just very gentle, very simple questions and nurturing. So what would give me most ease right now? And that could be going for a walk. It could be going to sleep. It could be having a cup of tea. It could be something really simple. It could be phoning a friend. You will get the awareness if you just come from the space of, what else can I choose that would give me even the slightest bit of ease here?
Absolutely. On that note, I'm also really aware that we've got somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes, and I'm hoping that you're going to tell everybody about the lovely guest that we're going to have next week and any classes that you have to share.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. So from stuckness to getting out in the world, next week we have, it won't be a live show, but we will have the awesome facilitator from Access Consciousness called Fiona Cutts. And Fiona's going to come and talk to us about helping us to find our voice in the world, whatever that be for you, whether it be singing, whether it be pottery, whether it be writing, whether it be looking after children, whatever it is. It's like, what is the contribution that you are to the world that you've never acknowledged? And that that's what the right voice for you is. Like, what is your voice? What is it you've kind of come here to contribute?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Me too. And because I love Fiona's energy, and I just think it's going to be a lot of fun playing with her and giving people tools about what what's going to happen. So we also have a class in December on the 20th of December in London, where she's doing a Right Voice for You class, and I also have a bars class in London next Tuesday, which is the 9th. So if you want to come and change your life, come and join me next Tuesday, or come and join me and Fiona in December on the 20th, and you can find details of that on my Facebook page.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Let's love. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. We hope you enjoyed playing with us today and that you'll come play with us next Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm. Until then, what would it take for you to enjoy playing with choices and possibilities to create more fun, more magic, and more